What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Now today I wanted to show you guys a couple of cool things that I was able to purchase. As you see before us here is the board that I showed you guys in my last video. This is the walnut and maple 2.25 inch board. This is the folding board. So really cool. Once again, I love it just because of the size and because it's super nice. I've been able to play a couple of games on this, and I feel like it's well worth the money. So I wanted to show you guys a recent chess set that I was able to purchase on Chessbazaar. 3.75 Fischer-Spassky Chess Set from like 1972, or I guess it's a replica or reproduction. When I went online to buy it, I didn't buy it directly through Chessbazaar, but I bought it through Amazon, which I'm guessing that there's an affiliation with Chessbazaar with Amazon. But I was able to get the package back pretty quickly. Here's the box. Everything was really neatly packaged in there. Every piece took me a while to take everything apart. Inside the package, you get the warranty, little Chessbazaar warranty about what you would need to do if any of your pieces were broken or any of your pieces were like cracked or anything like that. So it tells you where to call, what to do. So that's pretty cool. Then this is cool. They give you the little Chessbazaar instruction manual on how to like move the different pieces. So like how the king moves, how the queen moves, because if you're getting a chess set that's a couple of $100 or even $100, then you probably don't know how the pieces move. So just in case they get you the that instruction manual. Now here's the interesting part is I was looking for different styles. So House of Staunton had Fischer-Spassky chess sets of all different like prices. They've had inexpensive like plastic ones up to all the way to like a $500 luxury chess set variation, and everything in between. They've had I think a 6-inch King's Fischer-Spassky, which would be like this tall, like super tall, and all kinds. Like I think they had a library one. So clearly Fischer-Spassky is going to be one of those pretty popular chess sets. Now, one thing they didn't have, which was interesting, is that they didn't have like an antique boxwood or like a distressed boxwood, because generally you see that type of thing in more luxury chess sets. But Chessbazaar had an antique boxwood for like $120. Like not even, I think that it was even less. So let's go ahead and take a look, and I'll show you guys what this sort of looks like. Now the dark pieces, so we have the king right over here. This is the ebonized boxwood. One of the characteristics of these particular sets is that when you look here at the top, you have this sort of a rounded edge, and then the top portion is pretty flat overall, so there's no like raise or anything. And this is what I've seen on a lot of the other Fischer-Spassky chess sets, like even the luxury ones, is that it kind of has this defining characteristic. Now you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I've seen. You have the rounded off edge and the top. Other than that, I mean, the king kind of looks like any other king, really. Now here's the light. Let's just put them together side by side. But here's the light one. And this is what I was kind of talking to you guys about, is that it's got kind of almost like a mustard yellow look to it. Now with this particular chess set, as with any of the other chess sets, you'll get 4 queens. So the queens are a little bit shorter than the king. So here's the king, and then these are the queens. The queens, the top portions are going to be a little bit more like narrowed in, so they're not like sticking outwards, but kind of a little bit more subtle. And then you have the little top portion. Nothing defining about the queen itself, just kind of like a very standard queen. This portion is a little bit blunt. On the Fischer-Spassky chess set, it's kind of like blunt and large here. So it's not like tapered. Like in a lot of the knights, you'll see that the mouth portion's kind of tapered inwards. But here he's got sort of like an open mouth, but you can see the teeth and everything. So now if you look at the back side of these, I'm not sure if I'll be able to. This one might be able to show a little bit better. Let's see. Yeah. Well, not too bad. It almost feels like, I don't know, if I look at these too long, I kind of almost feel like they got a little bit of a scoliosis curvature to them. Maybe if I show you guys a couple of different ones. I might be wrong. But here, like if you look at the front of them, it almost feels like the way that they're looking is they have almost like, it's kind of hard for me to show, but it almost feels like this one, like in particular when I look at it, it's kind of got this weird, like not an exact straight face, but kind of slightly off to the side and then straight, which is, I don't know, maybe that's the way that it was planned to be, or maybe that's just, there you go, all the knights in all their glory. Really nice knights overall, not too bad. Then we have the bishops. Pretty standard, as I was saying before. The cut is very standard. This portion isn't too oblong or anything. It's not too round. Like the Cambridge Springs chess set, this portion was like really round to the point where it was a little unusual. So this would feel like a normal standard bishop, more or less. Then you have the top portion. Everything's fairly well sized and proportioned as far as the pieces. Like there's nothing that stands out or anything. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rooks. Now the rooks, here we go. As I've shown you guys before, the top portion right here compared to some of the other rooks. Here, let me show you guys comparison. Here's the 1852 Paulson series chess set. The top portion of this one is a lot more like broad. See, it like sticks out, and it's narrower. Like this portion's like a lot more narrow here, and yet it's pretty large. And then it's deep, obviously, inside here. It's pretty deep compared to the 1852 Paulson series chess set. It's not. So same for the black one. So pretty interesting overall. But I feel like this being more like tapered in, kind of like narrower, is also one of the defining characteristics of the Fischer-Spassky Chess Set. Finally, we have the pawns. I would say the pawns aren't really super small. Here's the pawns to the 1852 Paulson, the slightly bigger ones. But as far as weight goes, I mean, they're weighted pretty well. The pawns are really nice. Like I said, the chess set's really well done overall. I have no complaints. It's just that the color is a little bit different. And here's what I'm going to show you guys as far as what I like. I have the chess set for the, so this, sorry, here we go. This is the antique boxwood for the 1852 Paulson series chess set. And then this is the almost kind of gilded. Like when you guys hear the word gilded chess set on, it probably means some kind of a stain that's almost like paint in a way. You could still see the striations of the wood if you look closely, but I feel like they process it with something to make it look like this. Whereas here it's not as noticeable. Like this is a lot more of a subtle color, and this is kind of more of like a straight up honey mustard type of look, which isn't bad. It's just, it's different. Okay, I'm more used to this than this, but there you have it. At the same time, when I was purchasing this board from House of Staunton, they had these chess pieces on sale, these plastic chess pieces, and this happens to be the 3.75 Fischer-Spassky Chess Set plastic variation for like $19. So I ended up just getting this set. I wasn't intending on getting the wooden set before, but I ended up getting the wooden set because I like that set too, and it allowed me to make a comparison as far as, if you guys take a look, if you look at the two kings, they're pretty similar. Let's just kind of, there we go. I mean, not too different. You got the same shape and everything, and everything, you know, the base might be a little bit smaller here. It feels a little bit different. the thickness right up to here. The plastic one is a little bit thicker, but the overall shape is like very similar. So, and this one, interestingly, is also antique plastic, I guess. So this is what they're trying to replicate as far as what this looks like. And with the plastic one, they're doing a better job than this one does. So that's the kings, okay? Pretty close, pretty close. Let's look at the queens. So here we see the two queens. Obviously, this queen's a little bit taller, and the top portion of the queen is like smaller ball over here. And this part right here is a lot sharper. Like this one is not as sharp, and it's more like tapered inward. Whereas this one kind of just has a different feel to it. And the top portion is going to be a lot more spread out overall. It's different in the way that they're shaped here. So if they were trying to go for a replica, this would be kind of a little bit of a fail. Now, where things go a little bit worse off is here's the wooden chess set, and here is the plastic one. Completely different, like completely different. The nose here is so much different. Like you could see, it's just tapered, and it's got a taper to it. It's a smaller head. This is supposed to be the same size chess set, but you could see it's so much different. See, like everything's different. I probably wouldn't even say that they would be considered, like if we were to judge them based on just the knights, I wouldn't say that these were the same chess sets. Same goes for bishops. Not terribly different, but you could see that this area is kind of more oblong. This one's a little bit more round. The top portion's a lot smaller than this. And the cut here, if you guys can see, I'm not sure if you guys can see, the cut here has like the front portion is cut. And then over here, it's got more of like a sort of like a more of a rounded cut. And everything's sort of a little bit more round. So different size, as you could see, slightly different size. And then let's take a look at the rooks, because the rooks do definitely look a little bit different. Here's the rook, and here's the other rook. Tapered in. I mean, not tapered in. It's very narrow here. A lot more broad here. If we look at the top portions, very thin here and a lot more broad over here. So definitely looks different. I don't know, maybe I'm just being a little bit too picky, but you guys tell me in the comments below, like, what do you feel like there's enough of a difference to substantiate and say like, this looks weird. Interestingly, this rook right here has a crack. I got this with a crack. It's a plastic piece. I don't even know how a plastic piece can have a crack. It looks like a crack you would see in a wooden piece, but it has a crack. It's weird, but it doesn't even feel like it's going anywhere. But it's right along the seam line where they stamp these pieces together. There's a little crack. It's interesting. I bet I could warm this up and just like melt it together. Let's take a look at the pawns. Different pawns, completely different. This one's got more of a broader base, and then just a normal pawn look. This one, not as broad of a base, and then a little bit thicker out here and taller, substantially taller than this one. I mean, it's not to the point where it's unrecognizable. But if I had the plastic chess set, and somebody came up to me, they probably wouldn't be like, oh, hey, that's the 1972 Fischer-Spassky Chess Set. No, I don't know. And, you know, one of the interesting things, too, to take a look is that the felt over here is nice and thick. It's really thick. In fact, the felt here is probably even thicker than my... let's take this away. If you compare the felt size, the Paulson series chess set, which is like $600 or something like that, the felt is different here than it is here. Like, I thought before that felt was all like very similar in all the pieces, but apparently it's not. And the material that's used to make felt is different too, and the way that it feels is different too. I definitely like the Paulson felt because it's nice and like really smooth. But when you look at it up close, it's got like little hairs on it. So it almost feels like it would come apart over time, which I don't know. It's hard to say whether it's good quality, bad quality. I think it's nice. And it slides on the board really nicely too. This felt is different. It doesn't have as many of those little, if you look at it, it doesn't have as many of those little hairs coming out. Maybe it's just because it's newer, but it's also pretty thick overall, and it feels nice too on the board. So now when you look at this plastic chess set from House of Staunton, it's a completely different felt. Like, it's really, really thin. And hopefully I'll get this in focus. It's really, really thin, and there's like practically no hairs on it, period. And you can see the indentation right in the middle just because of how thin the piece of felt is. It's almost like a piece of paper. You could see that indentation where they put the piece of weight in there. So if you compare the two, you could see that felt is a lot different overall. So that's an interesting thing too, overall, to consider when we're looking at the different sets. The same goes for the other pieces. Like, here's the knights, and when we look at the knights, the felt here is of a different quality. So my best guess is that when the pieces are like really, really inexpensive, then they have to use an expensive felt. So I was under the impression that all felt came in standard. Like, felt was not very expensive and they just cut it out and stamp. But apparently for cheaper chess sets, you get cheaper felt. So something to keep in mind. Q-tips. And I got nail polish remover, I think. Non-acetone nail polish remover. I don't know if this will work, but let's take a look. And let's take a look at the, okay, just an experiment. We're going to take a little bit of this non-acetone nail polish remover. We're going to dip the little Q-tip into it. And let's take a look and see if we're going to get a, yeah, look at that. Look at that. If we do like this, look, it's yellow. The paint is coming off. I wonder what's underneath. Huh? Very cool. Definitely yellow. Look at this, guys. Very yellow. I bet if I soak him in this non-acetone nail polish remover for a little bit of time, super yellow. Look at this. Very yellow. Okay. So let me go ahead and rub it dry. It didn't really make a difference as far as because I didn't rub it long enough. Just put it up here. Or did it? I guess it didn't. No, wait. No, I guess it didn't. It didn't really make a difference. I think it just made it a little bit less shiny over here where I took it off. But as far as changing the color of it, it didn't really change the color too much. So this is definitely going to be like a painted process. And I'm just wondering, like, as you play these, is this paint going to rub off on your fingers too? That would be interesting to consider, you know. There's something to keep in mind because I've seen some chess sets out there that they'll say gilded. So gilded, I think, more or less means basically like painted. So if you get gilded ones, you know, be sure to keep that in mind, okay? So there you have it, folks. Another thing that I got was one of the people that is a good friend of mine on YouTube and a subscriber actually recommended that as a way to transport your chess pieces, you may want to consider this inexpensive gun holster. Like it's a gun box. It's a box that's used to carry like a pistol. So the way that it looks is kind of like this. It's I think it's about $26 on Amazon, and it's really cool actually. The way that you do is just put all your pieces in here, and then you just close it down, and because there's so much of this foam, the foam will actually press the pieces in. So let's go ahead and see if we can fit the whole chess set in here. So yeah, I think that's about it. All the pieces went in here. I would probably say a pretty tight fit. I would probably get a slightly bigger box, but the nice thing about this is that you get a $26 box and you can transport this anywhere you want to go. Like there's no pieces that are moving around in there just because everything has been. I think that this might be a pretty good option for anybody that wants something inexpensive to transport their pieces to tournaments and stuff. Like this is pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and open this up. Obviously, all the pieces fit in there really tight, as you could see here. But it's possible. So if you had the option of getting a slightly bigger pistol case, maybe for a slightly bigger pistol, then I would probably recommend getting one. But look, completely fits in. Really cool. $26, I don't think you can beat that price. Well, that's about it, folks. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. Hope you guys enjoy my channel and my videos. Be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys later.